Well, happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you all survived daylight savings time, got to sleep in this morning, have that extra little hour. And I want to thank you for joining me today. So, I am hosting the wonderful world of Akashic Records today. I will read the Akashic Prayer and then I will connect with the guides and the masters, see what general message they have that they want to share. And then I'll hop into some questions that have been submitted today. So, all good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for joining. If you have not joined before, my name is Betsy Grady. I have been working with Akashic Records for over 9 years as my full time thing. And I love it every day. I love every session, every gathering. It's just really so rewarding and wonderful to be able to share this work. I always say that I'm just so grateful that I get to do this lifetime and that it was part of my soul's plan and journey. So thanks for joining me. I would encourage you while I read the prayer, if it feels right to you, close your eyes, let your hands relax with your palms up because it puts you in a receptive state, and just be open to what like pops in your mind. It might be a question you need to ask, it might be something um, you're just kind of throwing out there energetically. Your guides are going to hear it and they might answer it in just a way that you can't even imagine. These sessions are really neat. So even if you don't ask a question out loud or submit one in some way, your guides know what you need to hear. So they brought you here for a reason. They brought you to this material. Um, so yeah, have fun with it. Okay, we'll get ready. Okay. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay, so a general message from the guides. You know, a couple of weeks ago, they're telling me to remind you that they brought forth information how uh, nature is the universe's kind of natural antidepressant, and how to be in nature when you just need a reset or to reconnect or to be grounded. Um, they talked about the frequency of trees and how they have the strongest vibration. So today they want to offer another way for you to, well, they're saying this does a multiple of things. It clears, it heals, it raises your consciousness, it raises your vibration, um, it brings you into a state of higher awareness. And it also has to do with the earth. And what they're saying is whether you are into yoga or not, the power of the Om, saying Om, singing Om, chanting Om, they said has so much depth to it, depth to it, that it brings you into a meditative state and it brings you to in that higher state of consciousness. What they're saying is so fascinating that it is aligned with the earth. Now they have the earth is known to have a frequency called the Schumann's resonance, and of course the Om has its frequency, and while they're not at the same, they're extremely aligned. So Om is seen as the energy that creates, the energy that contains all there is, kind of like the Akash, when we read the records where all things are from. So Om, in its three syllables, um, represent like the creation, the awakening, and then they would say the disruption, but it's really representing that cycle of life. And what they're getting to is this week, there's a lot of tension. particularly culminating this week, and it looks like it's going to be the next few weeks. And so they would like to invite you to find a way you can incorporate Om into your existence, into your daily routine. And whether that's, something you listen to, something you practice on your own, but they would really encourage you to find a way to start your morning with Om. And one of the things that's so fascinating, back in 2010, there was a study done. And what this researcher, I think she was in Boston, she put in the Om sound into this computer, and of course it creates a vibration, that frequency. And when they measured the Earth rotating on its axis, it was emitting the sound of Om. So it's like the Earth is chanting Om as it rotates, which is just so incredible to think of. There's just so much going on here that we can't wrap our minds all the way around. They would invite you to look at all of the Sopio tones, and that's Solfeggio. There are frequencies in those tones for healing, for calm, for animals, for all kinds of things. But that would be something to look at too. Listening to frequencies, chanting frequencies are such a wonderful way to be connected to all that there is, all that is, all there is. They're saying Om really brings you into that deeper connection with the earth, and it's so grounding, it's so powerful. What it does for your body, mind, and soul is just immeasurable. And they would like you, and they may even orchestrate a, like a national time to come together to sing Om. But I don't want to lead that one because I do not have the most powerful Om. But anyway, they're saying they would like everyone to come together, especially in the next few days, few weeks, to really get that energy out there, raise the consciousness. Om has the power to create change and create change for a higher consciousness. And so when we come together in numbers, it just adds to that power. So we'll see how that plays out. That's really remarkable. Let me see what else they have. Well, they said listening and singing makes it easy because it kind of takes our thought out of the way and our minds don't get in the way. And so sometimes when we are in a headspace and we can't stop it, or we're challenged in some way, it's kind of like nature. It's so easy to walk out in nature and feel grounded and connected. And they said this is even more by listening to the Om, singing the Om, or any of those solfeggio tone frequencies, but specifically the Om today they're interested in. So it's another gift for us to be here in a little bit easier of a way. We don't have to force anything. We can just listen. We can just chant. And it just clears the cellular energy in our bodies. So really be open to exploring that. Might put you outside of your comfort zone a little bit, but you know what they always say is life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Isn't that funny? And Om is the frequency of creation. It creates first. That's so cool. Okay. The guides are so clever, or the masters, whoever's showing up here. The other thing they want me to tell you is they want you to be open to infinite possibilities. And we often look at our current reality and think, even though we know there's more out there, we see what other people are living. For us, sometimes it feels like a dream, and it would just be a fantasy or a dream to have a different way of being here. And they're saying, that we all need to be open to infinite possibilities. And it's so funny. I did a reading for someone a few weeks ago, young person. I think she was 20. Um, I did not know her story, anything about her. And Ernest Hemingway came into the reading, and it was like, what? Uh, and he wanted her to read his books. And then he said, while you're at it, read some Steinbeck. He's not here, but he said to read them. And what's funny is she's an English major and she wants to be a writer. And she told me her mom had been telling her for a long time to read those books. And I just thought, well, you can't make that up. And then I have another person that I work with on a regular basis. And for several sessions, the name Julie keeps coming up. Well, she has a neighbor, Julie, but that just never felt like it resonated. Um, and it's just, I have to tell you, it's so funny. Her last session, gosh, that was just a few days ago, I think. Frequency of tones and notes and musical notes came in for her. Not in the way the guys are talking today, but we figured out Julie Andrews was who was trying to come through this whole time, and I just never made the connection. I couldn't grasp it. But anyway, what I'm telling you that for, they wanted me to share that, is because we think of these people, as maybe superstars in their area, when they were here living. Well, they still represent that in their non-physical state. And it's not impossible to believe that you can connect with someone like that, because they're still so very interested in what happens on the earth. And if there's some way they can influence someone to really align with their soul's calling, they will. I've had trying to think who else I've had come through that's been I had Tina Turner one time come through shortly after she passed. I was doing a group reading for these really wonderful women in Birmingham, and anyway, yeah, she came through in the end. It was just really, really amazing. So you never know. And what they want you to say is, you never know who's going to come through in a reading, or who might become your muse for whatever you're working here, or whoever wants to assist you. And whether you knew them in life or not, it does not matter. And so they're saying, even that, be open to infinite possibilities for your life. And what you're seeing out there, what you're appreciating and how others are living or being, the more appreciation you have for that, the closer it comes to you. And so being able to recognize something is being able to identify something. It's being able to identify the need or want or direction you want to move in. And when you have appreciation for what others are living and experiencing, you raise your vibration to be closer to that and aligning with that, and thus bringing that into your own experience as well. And so they're saying to abandon things that might feel like a pipe dream, abandon things where you might feel that's never going to be your story. Because if that's how you're thinking, that's how you're going to be being, if that makes sense. So they would tell you the two things today: the powerful frequency of Om and what it does for you, your body, the earth, the world, and to believe in infinite possibilities. So if y'all start seeing the number 8 everywhere, because that is also the infinity symbol, you have to realize that's another nudge to you that believe in this, believe in this. What you're seeing is real, and it can be real for you in your experience. So they want you to have faith in that and know that's just the way the universe works. It's not about trust in the divine, even though they would like for you to. It's really understanding that's how things work here. Everything works on a vibrational level. So if you want something, you have to be in the vibration of it. You have to line up with it. If you want love, you got to be loving. If you want money, you've got to appreciate money and all the people that have money. And if you want health, if you want connection, it's all of those things. to be in the vibration of it and know that the vibration of Om, the vibration of the Sopio Tones can all assist you getting there when you could just listen and let your body resonate with it and your mind doesn't get in the way. So I love that. What a great way to start. Okay, let me go here. I'm going to go to my questions. I can find them. Okay. First question today. All right, my question is regarding another fellow who asked you about synchronizing his masculine and feminine energies. I think it was from the October 27th episodes or session. I'm wondering if he is someone I should connect with. As you've said, there aren't many men around like that yet. Oh, how cool is that? So, if you haven't watched that episode, a gentleman wrote in a question, and now I forget what his question was, but the guides responded that his work was really to, oh no, he asked about the balance of the masculine and feminine energies and what that would look like for him. So this is a person who already speaks to people, who guides people, he coaches, he leads groups, really beautiful, happy soul. And one of the things the guides had said was, you're to work with men, because as this universal system is shifting into a more intuitive based way, more men are reaching for that language within them to be easier to access, to live in their own intuition. And we all have the male female aspects within us, and wholeness is when we live in that balanced way where we can be an intuitive person and we could trust our intuitive guidance, and then we take action on that. So the male energy is always taking action and doing and going for whatever we can think of we want or need or want to create. The intuitive mind for us is what's listening to our inner guidance system in our hearts, and it understands how our soul wants to be here. So the two of those together make for a really extraordinary experience. And so this man was directed to work with men and help them learn to work a little bit more with that feminine aspect, that intuitive aspect that all men have. And so they are prepared for this kind of new integration of things. It's the age of Aquarius. So read about that if you're not familiar with it. But they encouraged him to be ready for that and help people get ready for that. And so for you today, asking your question, someone to connect with, I'm hearing yes, absolutely. It would be a lovely connection. Could be something you two do together from your different places in the world. However, yes, it would be a lovely connection for you both. I love that. Okay. Okay. Hi, Betsy. A friend suggested I email you a question I've been working through and hopes you might have insights to offer via your YouTube show. Thank you in advance for this reading and any energy you put into this. Okay. I am a 54-year-old single gay man. I've moved back to my childhood hometown in North Alabama to be near aging parents for an unknown amount of time. I am approaching my 2-year anniversary here. I am a very fulfilled single person, but I would like to connect with someone who will become my partner in life. I've had very successful past relationships and know how good it can be and know the level of person I will spend my time with. I live in a relatively small city with what seems like zero options for potential men to consider. While it feels desolate locally, I'm open to long distance. Do you have any insights or guidance on how to align myself with a future partnership? Thank you for your time and consideration. Oh, isn't that so interesting? How the guides are saying, believe in infinite possibilities, and whatever you want, you just have to align with the vibration of being in that. So remember, and this is for everyone, when we want something, wanting is also a vibration. And so when we want something, we often stay in that vibration of wanting. So you have to switch out of that. And you do that by having gratitude for what you already have. You do that by looking around and and seeing what you appreciate, in other people's experiences. And and it has to be genuine. You can't fool the universe with a vibration. So that really has to come from your heart. So in answer to your question, I think it's really wonderful that it's like in the mind, it does look like, and maybe there's some reality there, that your options feel limited. However, the universe can work in ways that we would never be able to anticipate. And they come up with such creative ways to connect people, these amazing stories that our creative minds wouldn't even dream of. So the universe is gifted with so much and has so much capability of handing you what you want, delivering what you want in the most extraordinary of ways. So one thing you have to do is believe that your story is going to be even more remarkable because you're in a more isolated situation, so to speak. However, you are not limited to that. What's really interesting, hang on here. For some reason, they keep showing me Atlanta, but I'm also seeing Birmingham, so I feel like you're going to have options. Here. Give me a second. I'm trying to see how that will be for you, whether it's an event you attend, or something you join. I'm not sure, but I would say this. The guides are telling me to tell you you've already had lovely and successful relationships. So it's kind of like in your energy already. And you will again. There's no doubt in my mind that you will. So you might be there a little bit longer with your parents. This might happen for you a little bit closer to your second Saturn return, which is comes around like we hit the edge of it around 57, 58, but into 60, 62 sometime. But that always brings great transition and change. So you're not far off. You don't have to wait till then, but I would say life's going to be very different by that time for you, and you have that to look forward to. I am hearing that the life partner you are seeking, you have not met yet. For some reason, it feels like this person is in a professional business. And when I say professional business, it's kind of, it could be lawyer, could be banker, could be engineer. Hang on one second here. Not as in, doesn't feel like doctor though. So you might even think, oh, I would never date a lawyer. Or I would never date a whatever if it doesn't feel like in alignment with you or the language you speak now. But again, like the guide said, be open to infinite possibilities. Be open to your soul partner, soul companion for this lifetime to come in a way that you might not expect, in a persona you might not you would expect. So what they're also saying is, you know what, you're there and you're caring for your parents, and that's just such beautiful energy exchange. And caretaking for the elderly or someone sick or nearing the end of their time here is it's probably one of the hardest things on the planet to do. And if you could just remember, it's also such a great honor. And I know you know that. It's like, oh, it's such an honor to accompany the people that brought you in to help them on their way out. And they said for you, that's just in such a loving, giving, rewarding place. And if you could focus on that and the opportunity you have there with that, it almost lifts your vibration naturally too. And what you're doing is really feeling connected, and you're feeling connected in love. And you have the ability to be in the present moment right then and there, with your parents. And they're saying that's a lovely energy to be in, to align with someone. So you may want to be on different sites, just meeting, talking to people, but it also may be sites that you join that are intellectually stimulating. It might be, a group course you take just for the hobby of understanding something new. I'm not sure what that's about, but I don't know. There's connections there for you to be had. So I can't give you something specific on when or anything like that. I am hearing to make your priority be about connections. So connecting with your parents and that work there, that loving work there, connecting with friends. So I am hearing where it might feel a little desolate in your current environment, reach for connections everywhere you have and just feel those connections, feel how spread out they are, feel how authentic they are. And so that keeps you feeling full in the connection department. And then that becomes your dominant vibration. I am connected. And the person you want to connect with can come right in. So you'll have to keep us all posted and tell us the extraordinary story of when that happens. Thank you for asking. This is so much fun. Okay. All right, here we go. What is one significant thing I should know before my appointment on Tuesday afternoon? Is there any guidance or suggestions around this meeting? Okay, let's see here. Okay. One significant thing I should know before my appointment on Tuesday. Okay. Hang on one second here. They are, well, I might be getting more than one thing, so hang on here. See where they want to start. Well, they are showing you, they're giving me an image for you, almost like as if you're the Statue of Liberty and you are standing out there tall, proud, and you're holding this really beautiful light for everyone to see. They would have you look up what the Statue of Liberty means, why that was given. There's something in there that will resonate for you, but they also want you to feel that this is momentous. This is a significant time for you. There is real history in this for you for some reason. And they want you to feel the power, the detail of that molding of the Statue of Liberty, of the concrete. I'm not sure of all the reinforcements within her that have been there to keep her standing bright, what beautiful and strong. And they want you to really, what they're saying is they would love for you to channel that energy, the image of that energy. And it's, when you think about it, it's quiet confidence. It's nothing that needs to be shouted to the world, but it's quiet confidence, and you're holding your light bright. And there's real power in that. So this really, they would have you understand this time for you, this meeting for you, will feel helpful, clear, purposeful. You will feel like you are in your power, and you will understand this is about you being in your power and in your brightness, and how you will understand from this, maybe not just this meeting, but what's put in motion here, that your light is bright, and you will never dim it again for anyone else to feel good, if that makes sense. So you're turning up the torch, you're turning up the light, and it's going to stay strong and bright like that from now on. So I would say it's pretty significant. It may not be just in this one meeting, but what it opens the door to, what it leads to. So for you, they would say trust in the process. You've aligned with the perfect person to have this meeting with, and you're meant to trust in the process and trust in your power and in your brightness. So hopefully that's helpful. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining. Let's see here. Okay, here's one. So, hi, Betsy. Thank you for creating your community of people interested in seeking guidance from Source. It means so much that I'm able to tune in and be connected. Thank you. All right, I grapple with my place in life, sense of belonging. My thoughts and actions venture out into the spectrum of art and artistry. I think art connects us to our humanity and is meant to challenge and prompt us to ask questions about the deeper meaning of life. I believe art is a deep practice and study is an important, valuable, and necessary component for seeking truths about life. Albert Camus poses the question, is art a deceitful luxury? Camus has a response to this question, but I am also interested to learn the guide's response. Much love and appreciation. Thank you. Is art a deceitful luxury? Okay, hang on here. Okay, I'm just rereading this one more time. Okay. So, I have to confess, I know this person without giving anything away. So the guides are smiling and they said, remember, she's a Scorpio. So for all you Scorpios out there, we are now in Scorpio season, started Friday. Scorpios are called the investigators of the zodiac sign or the zodiac wheel because they like to dig deep. They love depth. They want to get to the roots of things and pull the roots out and examine them. And a lot of times, Scorpios, I don't want to say aren't satisfied until they get to that, but a lot of that. And so they're smiling and they very much appreciate your question, and that your question alone has a lot of depth to it. So they're saying, art is a tool for waking people up. It is a tool for, expression of those deeper meanings. Absolutely. And when you look at that too, they're saying, it's on the spectrum also where it can, art may hit people on the surface. It may hit people in the depth. It may bring joy. It may bring enlightenment. It may bring that challenge. It forces us to look at the deeper meaning of things. Absolutely. So you are 100% right. Art is a deep practice and study is an important, valuable, necessary component for seeking the truths about life. Yeah, art in its own way is a language. Now, it may not speak to everyone, but for those that are tuning in to the language of art, absolutely. And it can explain so much about life. Remember, our guides are always guiding us to have more understanding about our lives and the paths that we're on and which directions to take. And so they use different and similar language for everybody. And for you, you've learned to really tap into art and the expression of art. And so in it for you is where depth and meaning lies. Does that apply to everybody else? I would say to some degree, to others a bigger degree, to you a bigger degree. It's how you found real meaning and guidance, I would say. You've seen, it's like the guys are telling me, you've been able to use art to understand life. And so it's very powerful for you. there's something in your soul's calling that I would say you're meant to find wholeness within yourself through the language of art, if that makes sense. So, is art a deceitful luxury? Well, again, the guides are saying for some, yes, it could be. For some, it could be the equivalent of the sleepwalkers on the planet, those that, really live on the surface and just life can be very simple. Not that they don't have their challenges, but so art may just be art to them. It's a luxury to them, and they miss the opportunity to understand what that art can evoke in them, what it can bring up in them, what it can allow them to feel. So some people don't want to feel that deeply. They don't want to know that much. They're just happy the way they are. And oftentimes we in the spiritual community, it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't know so much, because sometimes, you know, delusion's a luxury too. It's like, oh, I don't need to know all this stuff, but now that I know all this stuff, I can't go back to sleep. Once you've been awakened, you're awakened and you have awareness, and that will never go away. And so for others, they don't want to be awakened. They want to have this lifetime on the surface. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Um, so I would say for some, it is what it is. It's just art. And it might be a status symbol that they have this by somebody, or they've attended this show, or they've whatever it might be. For others, though, there's a richness to see a different story, a bigger story, if that makes sense. And um, you are certainly connected to that bigger story. So remember, when we look at things, we're also projecting onto things what we see in it. And that is always evidence of where we are. So our opinions, our perceptions, they indicate more about us and where we are and how we look at life. So take that into consideration too, I'm hearing. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me see here. So grappling with your place in life, or that sense of belonging. So that guides would have you look at, what, you've been doing deep exploratory work. You have for a long part of your life. And they are telling me, this is so funny. It's gotten very comfortable for you. So think about it this way. If you dove down into the ocean, or you dove down into the earth and you're pulling up all the roots, it's almost like that's become your comfort place. And they would like for you to come up for a little while. They would like for you to it's almost like you've gotten down there in this excavation and you forgot what's going on up here on the surface. And things on the surface matter too. And what they're saying is, come back up for a little while and remember what it's like to be out there on the surface, to have no cares, to be silly, if you will. And it's almost like what you've been excavating, bring that up, and to see how you want to use it when you're on the surface, because you can always go back down. But they would like for you to come back up more and have a little balance in that. And I hope that makes sense. So it's kind of like we can't stay in the deep waters forever. We have to come back up and come to the surface and catch our air, feel the sunlight again, breathe the fresh air, before we take another deep dive into things. So that too is part of the journey, going up and down, coming back and forth, diving deep, and then resting in that knowledge for a little while. So they said the soul, our lives here, our lifetimes would be almost like that diving deep. It could equally be like diving into a black hole. It's endless. It's endless. And at some point, we aren't necessarily living because we're so busy diving. And that's fine too. They're not judging that at all. And that may be what your soul is doing this lifetime. But I'm not hearing that for you. I'm hearing your study this lifetime is in partnerships. And that could be business, that could be um, parental, that could be sibling, that could be, romantic partner. But they're saying you're really working that angle of partnerships. And so you might find you spend a lot of time in the absence of partnership. You may find that partnerships in other areas niggle at you, and that may inspire you to want to do the deep dive. And what they're saying to be on the surface a little bit more and understand what we see in others is in us somewhere. And it's about coming into a place of peace with that and seeing how it's serving us. And so being on the surface can really serve us when we look at it that way. Does that make sense? I hope y'all understand that. Okay. Um, Thank you for asking that question. I might have to look up and see what Albert Camus says about that. All right, let me just see here. Anything else I have? Anything else I have? Okay, so I do have a minute or so for some questions here. Let me see. Yes. Yeah, if you want to ask a question, please do. And if not, send it in to my email address. So if y'all want to send a question, I always answer when I get an email first because I keep it in a little folder. It makes it easy for me to find. And that's Betsy, Betsey, at BetsyGrady.com. But I always look forward to your questions. I look forward to sharing. And I'll see in the meantime, if you don't have a question in here, I'm just going to see what the guide's parting words for us will be. Well, they're saying, remember, we are all vibrational beings, and we all know this, and you all know this. And they're saying that it's kind of like if you're seeing something you don't like, you're living something you don't like, maybe you're think of it on a radio station that, golly, you just don't like what they're playing. You know what? All you have to do is turn the dial. And I know they're making that sound simple. They acknowledge that, yet it is that simple. And they said, like turning a radio, tuning a radio, flipping channels, it's like channel surf until you get to one you want to watch or something you want to experience. So you have the power to change the channel. You have the power to turn the dial. You have the power to change your frequency. And what you really need to think of is, what is that frequency for you that you want to live in next? And how do you get there is about looking and identifying where it already is, and then understanding how much you can appreciate it. Again, if someone's living in a beautiful home on the coast with a beautiful view, that can walk on the beach every day, and that's something you want in your life, you know what? Go spend time there and start walking with those people. Just imagining that you're living there, but love that all these people have these beautiful homes on the beach, and that could be yours too. And really get into that believing space of it. That's you turning the dial. So it's like immerse yourself in the experience of what you want to be around. So if you want to be in a couple, or a relationship, you know what? Surround yourself with couples and quit thinking I'm the third wheel or the fifth wheel or whatever wheel. It's like, no, be in that energy and love it. Love every bit of it. And understand that's how you're turning the dial. It's like it's comfortable being here. This is where I belong. And in that sense of belonging, you line up with it. Does that make sense? So really, really great today. Thank you for these questions. I tell you, even though we have just a few questions, there's so much depth in them. And I love that you guys want to explore what you want to explore and that I get to share in that with you. So thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will be in touch next week. Okay? Bye. Oh, I didn't say bye. Okay. Oh.